Today, I'm showing you the collected editions that I am most excited to grab in September 2023. Welcome back to Comics Are Dope. I'm BJ Kicks, and this is my September most anticipated collected editions list. Now, I've tried to record this video like 4 times. It started as the books I'm most excited for the rest of the year, and that just would have been way too long of a video. So I decided we're going to break this down by the month. So this is the September collected editions list. That is trade paperbacks, standard size hardcovers, oversized hardcovers, and of course, my favorite, the omnibus format. Now, all of these books that I'm going to shout out, like you can actually grab, I'm going to give you the retail prices on them, but you can find these at a discount from our channel sponsor, Organic Price Books. So go ahead, click the link in the description down below if you're interested in any of these titles from any of these weeks in September. You can use my coupon code BJKicks at checkout. That'll save you $2 on orders of 1 or 2 books. But if you want to order 3 or more books at the same time for maximum savings, you'll get an extra 5% off that order with the code BJKicks. Ship it together. So huge shout out to Organic Price Books for being the best and for sponsoring this video. Now, I'm going to break this down by release week. Now, you never know. Some of these dates could change. Sometimes things get pushed back. Maybe Diamond drops a shipment or something. I don't know. But as of today, as of me filming this video, and today is August 26th as I'm filming this, these are the most current dates. Now, we're going to start off with the first week of September. So that week of September the 5th. And we're going to go ahead and start off with the book. This is probably the book I'm most excited for the entire month. And if you know me, you guessed it. It is the Batman Adventures Omnibus. Now, the Batman Adventures, of course, being, I guess, the adaptation of the Batman, the animated series. This brings us into that world, the animated world, the Bruce Timm verse, if you will. Speaking of Bruce Timm, this is written by Paul Dini. You've got some art in here by Bruce Timm. You've got art by Ty Templeton, Kelly Puckey. You've got, it just runs the gamut. There are great artists in that iconic animated series style. That style right there. In this omnibus, this is the book that gets you the first appearance of Harley Quinn. And, you know, the rest is history, honestly. Just even the cover art. The cover art on this book is just, it's that promo image that we saw for Batman, the animated series, like in every magazine and comic book and everything. That image was all over the place in the 90s. So the fact that that's the cover art, it's just all great. But this collects Batman, I was going to say Batman the animated series. This collects the Batman Adventures issues 1 through 36, the first and second annuals, the holiday special with Mr. Freeze on the cover, Mad Love #1, the Harley Quinn story, and some selections from Batman Black and White as well. So you can grab that with a cover price of $150, and that is absolutely the book I'm most excited for out of the gate for September 5th, 2023. Now let's move on to Deceased: War of the Undead Gods. Now, this is going to be the 5th and final hardcover in the Deceased franchise. Tom Taylor and Trevor Hairsine just wrapped that story up like 2 months ago. And so if you were waiting for a hardcover collection, go ahead and grab this one. It's going to be good. Now, I should let you know there is a Deceased Deluxe edition coming out later on this month, actually. But as far as I understand, that's only collecting the original Deceased series, and I haven't seen anything solicited for the rest of the Deceased hardcovers or stories. So for right now, if you want to complete your set, those nice foil spines, then you need to grab this one. Deceased: War of the Undead Gods, written by Tom Taylor, art by Trevor Hairsine. Great stuff. Collects issues 1 through 8, which is that full maxi series. Mini-series? I feel like maxi's 12. I don't know. Unwritten rules of comics, I guess. But that's a great book. And if you are into like the New Gods, you'll enjoy that book quite a bit. Now, moving on to another sort of self-contained standard size hardcover from DC. This is Gotham City Year 1. Written by Tom King with art by Phil Hester. I can't even lie. I have not read a single page of this book, even though I guess I could have on DC Infinite if I wanted to. The reason I'm excited about this or interested in this is because everyone that's read it, which isn't a lot of people in my comic circles, but everyone who has claims it's like among the best comics of the year, like, or of recent years. You know, Tom King can be kind of hit and miss with me, but he tends to always hit on these like short miniseries featuring characters that I don't know or don't care about. Slam Bradley being one of those characters. So I'm curious about this at best. Cover price on this, $29.99. You can grab that on September 5th as well. Now, this is, wow, I think this is all DC this week. So continuing, we've got a box set. This is the Superman 78 and Batman 89 box set. Now, last year, DC released two miniseries, one called Batman 89, the other called Superman 78, both basically tied into those movie franchises. So Robert Venditti wrote the Superman 78 book, and what's the guy? Sam Hamm, who was one of the screenwriters on the old Batman movies, the Tim Burton verse, if you will. He wrote Batman 89, and both were supposed to be kind of seen as continuations of the stories started. So, Superman 78, I guess, could be looked at as like, I don't know, Superman 5, because there was a lot of Superman movies in that timeline. But you see that as like a Christopher Reeve verse. And then the Batman 89 book would have slotted right after Batman Returns. So Batman Returns, and then this Batman 89 book. You could, it basically, as it would act as if Joel Schumacher did not take over for the third Batman movie and gets the stuff that you would have seen potentially in that, like Marlon Wayans as Robin or Billy D. Williams actually getting to be Two-Face. So very cool stuff. I started reading the Batman book and kind of dropped off in single issues. The reason I'm really interested in this, because these hardcovers have been out for a minute. I'm really interested in the hardcover box set because of just how good they did, or how well they did with the graphic design. Like, it looks like a set of VHS tapes, and that's enough to make me fanboy out. I mean, that's kind of the perks of physical media. Like, you get cool looking stuff. The only thing that would make me not want to buy this is the fact that the next week, they're actually doing a special Batman Day variant of the Batman 89 hardcover. And that's going to have like just that 1989 Bat logo from the movie poster on the book. Yes, I know it's literally just a different dust jacket, but I don't know, man. That's just cool. So the box set you can grab for $49.99, or if you just want that Batman logo or that Batman Day exclusive cover, wait for a week and you grab that for $25. Hey, I don't know. Can never get enough Batman 89, right? Just ask the Flash. Now, next up is, and this is rounding out that week of September 5th, this is Batman Under the Red Hood Deluxe Edition. Now, Under the Red Hood, a story that appeared in Batman just before the Grant Morrison run, and it brings back Jason Todd. Where'd he go? I don't know. Spoilers for like a 40-year-old story. But Jason Todd had been gone. He comes back as the Red Hood. We learn why and how in this. At least I assume we learn how. I've never read Under the Red Hood. I just watched the movie, and it's one of my favorite DC animated universe movies. So anyway, Judd Winnick, Doug Mahnke, actually, the solicit doesn't say what this collects, but according to Wikipedia, the original Under the Red Hood story, or the Batman Red Hood story, actually, I think it was called Under the Hood, but it takes place in issues of, or pages of Batman issues 635 through 641, and then 645 to 650, and Batman Annual number 25. Cover price on this deluxe hardcover, this is a deluxe edition, so it will be as tall as an omnibus, $49.99. But yeah, man, so that just rounds out the week of September 5th. Clearly a very DC heavy week, a very Batman heavy week. Hey, I make no apologies. My taste is my taste. Batman's on the wall behind me. What do you expect? Now, let's move on to the week of September 12th, where we finally get an entry from Marvel Comics, and this is the Wolverine Omnibus Volume 4. Written by Larry Hama, mostly, art by Mark Teixeira, mostly, and a bunch of other people as well. This is collecting a whole bunch of 90s Wolverine, issues 60 through 75, a bunch of Wolverine-like graphic novels like Wolverine Inner Fury, Wolverine Killing, Wolverine Global Jeopardy. There's a Wolverine Punisher crossover in here, the Sabretooth miniseries, X-Men issue 25, where Magneto rips out the adamantium, and a whole bunch of Wolverine features from Marvel Comics Presents, issues 109 to 142, and even there's a holiday special in there. There's a whole lot of Wolverine in this book, just like there's been a whole lot of Wolverine in the previous 3 volumes. If you're a Wolverine fan like I am, you got to grab it. Cover price on this is $125. Now, let's move over to DC, of course, where the next book on the list is GCPD, The Blue Wall. Now, this is a book, it's a standard size hardcover, and it's written by John Ridley with art by Stefano Raphael. Now, this book really kind of caught me by surprise. I was not a fan of John Ridley's run on Black Panther. I was not a fan of John Ridley's run on the books that kind of led into I Am Batman. And he really didn't lose me until I Am Batman. Although Next Batman Second Son wasn't great either. But anyway, I wasn't a fan of the Jace Fox saga. I wasn't a fan of his T'Challa saga. But this came out right in the middle of all that, and surprisingly was really good. It's a 5-issue miniseries that basically profiles 3 rookie police officers fresh out of the academy and joining the Gotham City Police Department. So you could kind of see it as like a spiritual successor to Gotham Central. Renee Montoya is a big character focus here, but I thought this book did a really good job of just kind of giving a nuanced portrayal of what it's like to be a police officer out in the real world and how different people would respond to the pressures of that job, both internal and external. Honestly, a very good look at policing, or at least what I imagine policing might be like. Cool stuff from John Ridley. This is, I feel like he shined. He did a great job with this book. So, GCPD, The Blue Wall, definitely a recommend, highly recommend. Standard size hardcover, cover price on it is $24.99. Now, let's talk about something I haven't read at all. This is Batman and the Joker, The Deadly Duo, Deluxe Edition. It's written and drawn by Mark Silvestri. This was a book that when it was coming out, there was a ton of other Batman stuff coming out, and the art, I feel it was just, the book overall just had a darker tone than I cared to read at that moment. Well, that moment's passed and this moment's here. And now I can read all 7 issues of Batman Joker, The Deadly Duo as a standalone book in deluxe format, no less, for a cover price of just $29.99. That seems like a steal for a deluxe hardcover. But hey, works for me. Now let's move over to some not DC books. Now there is one of those biography books. This is the type of book that you see in the comic shop all the time and perhaps never pick up, but this is I Am Stan. It's a Stan Lee biography book by Tom Scioli. I was going to say it both ways because one of them will be right? What if it's like Scioli? Then I was just wrong. No matter what. But anyway, so this guy, Tom, wrote and drew a biography of Jack Kirby a few years ago. Or maybe it was just last year, but I've been seeing it in the comic shop forever. Like, oh, that looks interesting. And I never picked it up. What's got me interested in this book is, ironically, is not this author or anything at all, but the fact that I just recently picked up Run, book 1 from an Amazon deal, by John Lewis, the late Congressman John Lewis. And I tore through that thing. And I'm like, you know what? I don't mind biography graphic novels. That seems fun. So now I want to go back and grab that Kirby, A Life in Comics book, and this new I Am Stan biography. Now, the hardcover for I Am Stan does come out on September 12th for a cover price of $28.99. The paperback comes out the same day, and I think it's like $22.99. And if you missed out on the Jack Kirby biography, that comes out in paperback the same day. It's getting a reprint as well. So you can grab all your biographical fun books at the same time. It's just a big Tom Scioli fest. Now, also from, well, the I Am Stan book, I don't think it's from Image Comics at all. But from Image Comics we got Almighty, the trade paperback. It's written and drawn by Edward LaRoche. Now, I read issues 1 and 2 of this. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's a 5-issue series. I just kind of fell off of it in single issues, but it was good. I just thought it'd be better to read all together. But basically, in some like Mad Max type world, this big post-apocalyptic world where like, you know, everything's dangerous, this little girl gets abducted, and a private contractor is hired to like basically rescue her and bring her back to her family, her benefactors. I don't know. Who is it that even hired than her to get this girl back? And so it was that kind of that standard like grizzled old vet and like a little girl who like just doesn't know or care to like be controlled or whatever. And I thought it was a fun dynamic, but I honestly thought like this would read better in trade. And now that trade is here. Cover price on it is $16.99. So there you go. And speaking of trades with better cover prices, Torrent Volume 1 is coming out on September 12th, written by Mark Guggenheim with art by Justin Greenwood. This follows a superheroine called Crackerjack, who is a hero until tragedy strikes. And now she's got to use different means to avenge some of her loved ones. And so, honestly, I read the first 2 issues of this as well. My man Skip put me onto it because he's friends with Justin Greenwood. And the whole book just kind of ended up being bittersweet for me. But I want to read it. So, yeah, man. Yeah. All right. Anyway. R.I.P. to my man Skip. But Torrent Volume 1, great art, great story. Cover price on it is $9.99. And that's rounding out my picks for the week of September 12th, 2023. Now, let's skip over to the week of September the 19th, where the first biggie is the Sins of Sinister hardcover from Marvel Comics. Now, you guys know I've been up and down on this Krakoa era ever since Jonathan Hickman left. Sins of Sinister is another event sort of spearheaded by Kieran Gillen, who was writing Immortal X-Men at the time. Al Ewing's writing X-Men Red, and somebody was writing all the Nightcrawler stuff. Was it Cy Spurrier? And so the three of them, they got together to do this whole Sins of Sinister event. Basically, Mr. Sinister, spoilers. Never mind. Mr. Sinister did something that was worthy of his name, and he kind of messed up the timeline. And so we go all the way up to 1,000 years in the future to this possible existence that Sinister set into motion, and the consequences were dire. If I'm honest, I wasn't a huge fan of Sins of Sinister. It wasn't bad. A lot of people who are much smarter than I am and who like chewing on comics a bit more than I do, they loved Sins of Sinister, especially if you're into like magic or supernatural stuff or just like even like cosmic stuff. It kind of scratches all of those itches. But for me, I felt like it was at its best when it was just like action. The opening of Sins of Sinister, that preview in Immortal X-Men issue number 10, amazing. Anyway, this is an oversized hardcover for a price of $75. Why has it made my list? Well, because it's going to be key to understanding the Krakoa era. Now that we're in the fall of X, that's going to be a major pillar if you want to read the story. This continues a lot of threads that Hickman opened up in Inferno and also throughout his whole X-Men run. Yeah, this book is essential if you're reading this era of X-Men, whether you like the mechanics of it or not. There's stuff you gotta read in here. So Sins of Sinister hardcover out on September 19th with a cover price of $75. Now, the next book is an odd choice, I must say, but the Batman and Robin Eternal. Batman and Robin Eternal is getting an omnibus, I believe, for the first time. Batman and Robin Eternal is a sequel to Batman Eternal that I guess you could read as a standalone. You don't have to read Batman Eternal first. Written by Scott Snyder and James Tynion. There are other writers in there as well. Tony Daniels on art, among other people. But it's only a 26 issue series. It came out weekly, and it was supposed to end up like celebrating, I don't know, some anniversary of Batman. But this one puts Nightwing front and center, where the Batman Eternal event was a Batman focused mystery story. This puts Nightwing in focus and the rest of the Bat family for 26 issues. And someone like me who kind of buys like everything Batman, I can't skip it. Cover price on it is only $100. So that's nice because DC books tend to cost a lot. Like this one, Batman Nightfall Volume 1 is getting a reprint that's coming out on the week of September 19th. Now, I'm not buying it, but I did want to show it to you because I know that those Nightfall Omnibus hardcovers have been in high demand. Now, to be fair, Volumes 1 and Volume 2 have been pretty easy to find on the open market for as long as I've been in the comics. It's Volume 3 that's been elusive, but my assumption is that because Volume 1's getting reprinted, we're going to eventually see a reprint of both Volumes 2 and 3. So if you wanted to get started on that whole Nightfall saga, if you were staying out of it because you knew Volume 3 was unavailable, maybe this is the time to jump in. And even if you end up not getting Volume 2 and 3, hey, just getting the saga up until Batman getting his back broken, it's still pretty good storytelling. It collects Batman issues 484 to 500, Shadow of the Bat issues 16 through 18, the Batman Vengeance of Bane #1, Detective Comics 654 to 666, and Showcase 93 issues 7 and 8. Cover price on it is $150 then. Yeah, that's coming out the week of September 19th, and that's the last book for that week that I'm excited about. Can you tell I'm a Batman fan? I don't know if it's obvious or apparent, but no worries. Let's move on to the final week of September, where, of course, one book I'm excited about is Batman, the Golden Age Omnibus, Volume 1. Now, I'm on the fence on this one. I don't know if I'm going to grab this. If I just got a bunch of extra money, then maybe. And here's why I want to grab it. This book collects Detective Comics issues 27 through 56 by Bob Kane and Bill Finger. Also collects Batman issues 1 through 7. Not New 52 Batman issues 1 through 7, like Batman, the beginning of Batman. This book collects the beginning, the origins of Batman and Commissioner Gordon and Robin and the Joker and Poison Ivy and Catwoman. Like, it all starts here. And if I felt like I was disciplined enough to read the start and not suddenly want to collect everything else, this probably would have been like even higher on my list than it is. But I know how I've been in the past. I feel like I've developed a bit of self-discipline in the 4 years since I've been reading comics, but like Batman, I don't know, man. It's hard with Batman. So I might grab this because I feel like you can't be a Batman fan and not own at least those first stories. But you can definitely be a Batman fan and not buy the Golden Age Omnibus Volumes 2 through 10. That's right, there are 10 volumes of Golden Age Batman Omnis, and Volume 10 actually comes out that same day, September 26th. So, yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, the Batman Golden Age Omnibus Volume 1, that starts out my September 26th list now. And the last book, this is actually the last book I'm super excited about for September, and even this one's got a caveat on it. This is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin, the director's cut, hardcover. Now, The Last Ronin, based on a story idea kind of outlined by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird ages ago, back when they were still a duo and like loved each other and stuff. They're on good terms now. But before they like fell out and all that, like back during the original TMNT stuff, they conceived of this story. Kevin Eastman dusted off that outline, gave it to Tom Waltz, who wrote an amazing, compelling, and thrilling story. And those 5 issues took 2 years to come out. I don't know how it takes 2 years to get a 5-issue miniseries out, but they did it. They managed to do it. And that book is out. The hardcover is out. And now we've got a director's cut. Now, what's unclear to me is if the full story is actually collected in here. I assume it is, along with extras and sketches and behind the scenes stuff. Like, I assume that's what's in it, but I don't know. I don't know. And IDW didn't actually list what the contents of it are. I can't imagine that you're going to pay $49.99 to grab that book and it doesn't actually tell the full story. So I'm assuming it, because I think it collects the full story, I don't think I'm going to buy it because I already have the full story in a different hardcover. But something, if it's like a full like process edition type thing where every page is just raw pencils and blue line and stuff like that, it might be a cool companion piece. So I'm going to wait to see somebody's overview of that book before I pull the trigger on it or pre-order. But I just wanted to let you know, in case you didn't buy the original Last Ronin hardcover, that this is coming. And by the way, IDW is milking that Last Ronin story for all it's worth. They got a sequel coming out next year. They had The Lost Years, like a prequel that came out this year. Listen, if you like The Last Ronin, like they've got it to the point where you don't got to read the Turtles. Just read The Last Ronin. And honestly, you might be better off for it. But that's actually it for the week of September 26th. That's it for the month of September for me. And yeah, can you tell I'm a Batman fan? I can tell I'm a Batman fan. Lots of books coming out. Am I going to buy all these? Probably not. But if I do, I'm buying them from Organic Price Books. You can go to organicpricebooks.com, use the coupon codes in the description down below to save some money on your order. Thanks again to OPB for sponsoring this video, and thanks to you for sticking through to the end. I'll see you guys in another video real soon. Peace.